Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Ridiculous. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 166 of the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood. Jeff is busy. We've both been busy. That's why this is like our first new episode in weeks. Okay. We're being crushed under the wheel of capitalism, but we're here now. Our next episode is probably going to be like 6 hours. So we're going to give you a real short one today because this couldn't wait because I love this film. And we have a returning guest. I brought back my boy Danny because Danny got to see the Q&A and I didn't because I had to run to see How to Train Your Dragon in IMAX because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. First and foremost, Danny, go ahead and reintroduce yourself again.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am Danny O'Neill, aka I'm not going to go into what you did last time, but aka Blu-ray Dan and or aka Dan in real life. I am a physical media advocate, a movie lover, just a lover of film, man, and a lover of A24 and Celine Song, baby.
See, and that is exactly why I invited you because you told me your a real personal story, which honestly. Yeah. It got to me. You told me how much you love Past Lives. I mean, yeah. I haven't met one person who hasn't liked that movie. The physical Blu-ray.
I brought it out, baby. I brought it out.
I've if somebody ever told me they didn't like that movie, I'd be like, all right, that's your opinion, but also I'm gonna look at you like
yeah, I know, right?
Okay, all right.
You're entitled to your opinion,
but also, yeah. It's like the opinions I'm seeing for How to Train Your Dragon. I'm like, yo, this shit really, y'all? Like, come on, bro. Seriously?
I know we're not going to go into that, but funny enough, bro, exactly what I had said to you that day. It's like, it's a weird situation with the How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a weird situation. I think with any of these live action remakes, because you want it to be, you don't want them to stray too far from the original. So you want it to be this like similar. But then you get similar and it's like, but it's the same movie. So why are we, you know what I mean? So it's, I heard people praising it because it's a shot for shot remake, but I'm like, you already saw the movie though. So.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I saw this in IMAX 3D 15 years ago. It blew me away. Rewatched it Sunday night. Still blew me away. Still a great movie. Still love the animated trilogy. And the trilogy just wrapped in 2019. That's only fucking 6 years ago. And you're trying to tell me already a live act. I'm like, why not just do a fourth one?
This is what they do, man. This is what they do.
And it's only 30, shot for shot, line for line, 30 minutes longer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the place to get into this.
No, that's not. We're talking Celine Song.
Yeah, Materialist, a movie I was dying to see. I was mad to miss the press screening last week. Mm-hmm. But, again, money's money, and you got to make money. So it worked out that it fell in line the same day as the How to Train Your Dragon, this screening. This particular, we went to a guild screening, and Celine Song was there for a Q&A, and you did not know this was a Celine Song joint. Like, when I told you this right before it started, you're like, oh, shit, I didn't realize. I was like, Danny, how do you not realize that?
Because I'm slacking, man. I'm slacking. I got a lot going on, and I'm slacking on my A24 stuff lately. Yeah, dude, it was, I was not excited to see the film until you said that. So I was like, all right, it's an A24 movie. I watched the trailer. I was like, it's going to be one of those, lovey-dovey movies, and it's either going to hit or it's not going to hit, and whatever. It's an A24 movie. I'll watch an A24 movie. The director is going to be there. So, and then I sat in the seat and you were talking, and you're like, yeah, blah, 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 she did Past Lives. And I was like, hold on a second. This is the same director as Past Lives. And you're like, yeah, man. And I'm like, oh, now I'm excited for this one. And I got it right to be.
I mean, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like, my number one movie of the year so far is still Sinners,
Mm-hmm.
but I think without a doubt, number two is definitely Materialist.
Yeah, it's
Like,
up there. I haven't figured out my placement yet, but it's up there
right,
for me.
right. I mean, you still got a few. I'm just that's the way my brain works.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, it's we're only 6 months into the like. Oh damn, we are more than halfway through the year. But yeah, like
yeah,
this is I I expected a good movie. I didn't
yeah.
expect what we got. Like this, I spoke like talking to Dave afterwards because our boy Dave, who we both know,
Hmm.
he pointed out
Yeah,
something that I think I really love about this movie is like, every romantic comedy or love triangle of a movie of this sort, there's always a bad guy. And everybody in this, you understand where they're fucking coming from. Like nobody's right or
yeah,
wrong. That's what I
yeah,
love
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
It's true. It's
And
not good or bad. It's just different situations.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'll
yeah,
I'll
it's
be
true.
real honest with you. I've been like I am Chris Evans's character, like through and through. Like I was just like,
Yeah,
damn, I was just like, we are right around the same age. Uh I've been in the situation he's been in, or you're just like, yo, we're in love, but like she wants something a little different than I am, or it's just something stupid that just breaks up the relationship. And in hindsight, you're just like, man, this was something real simple. Why the fuck couldn't we just work this shit out?
I know. And bro, I'm with you because same here, man. Right at the end, you looked at me and you're like, bro, I've been through this, and I was like, me too, man. Me too. And it's true, man.
Yeah.
And I think I was a little worried too, because it's three big name stars. Dakota Johnson, maybe she's not as big as like Chris Evans or Pedro Pascal right now, but
Right.
she's big still. And you have a hard time with. I get worried about this with every movie that has a lot of stars, especially if it's smaller focused, bigger focused. It doesn't know who to focus on and what characters to focus on. I think they did a really good job of giving each character their proper time.
Hmm.
And yeah, just super relatable. I think we've all been in a situation like this. I mean, right? I mean, the entire time Chris Evans is talking through the movie, I'm like, damn, man, like this is what And even the stuff that Dakota Johnson's character, what's her name, Lucy? Even the stuff that she was saying in the film was like, yo, man, I've had this stuff said to me, and even her own realizations. I've had these conversations.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yes. But before we
Hmm.
get more into it, I want you to do this, Danny. Why don't you break down a quick plot synopsis for everybody listening right now?
Damn, man. Shoot, bro, I don't even know how to start because it's a little, what character do we start with? When you're breaking down the plot.
Lucy. Like,
Yeah, Dakota
yeah.
Johnson. She plays a character named Lucy, who is a matchmaker, and she's like an expert matchmaker. It starts off where she's had 9 of her matches uh, get married, and she's just really good at what she does. She really picks and chooses the right people to be with each other, and everything comes down to a math, to a science. Um, and she herself is, I don't know if it's recently single. They didn't really give a time frame
Right.
of when they broke up, but you could tell it's been some time. Like time has passed. They haven't spoken to each other in a while. Um, she was with Chris Evans' character. I think his name was John, I believe.
Yep.
And she runs into him while at the ninth wedding, the ninth successful wedding. He's a bartender, or bartender. I don't know what you call. I guess he's
Cater,
he's
like cater staff, like
yeah, yeah,
party
yeah,
down type people.
yeah. And she is introduced to the brother of the groom, and that's Pedro Pascal. So he right away starts, hitting on Dakota Johnson's character Lucy, and there's some resistance there, and then the love triangle begins because he says, "Can I get you a drink?" And she goes, "Yeah," and she says, "I'll take a beer and a Coke," and there goes Chris Evans with the beer and the Coke right there. Hey, buddy. I don't know if that really breaks it down.
That's
I know there's a
perfect.
love triangle right there because I don't know
Right,
how else to
right.
really explain it, but the love triangle goes right there, and it's a back and forth between the two and what's right, what's wrong, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what is, love and what is material and what
Right.
matters and what doesn't matter.
That was a perfect breakdown. Like, I remember sitting through the movie, and I only saw the first trailer once, and so that to me was like a perfect introduction for Chris Evans's character, where out of
Yes.
nowhere, as soon as she says it, she's
Yeah.
like, "Well, you could start by getting me a beer and a Coke," and then it just plops down on the table, and you're just like, "The fuck?" And then she jumps out of the seat and hugs him. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a very different type of romantic movie." I can't even. It is a rom-com for like the first, I want to say 45 minutes, and then it turns into like a romantic drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because I guess I might as well just say this off the rip, and I'm not gonna. Let's not talk about it, but because I think everybody should discover this on their own. But this definitely goes places I absolutely did not expect, and I was just like, "Whoa!" And the way Celine handles it is with so much delicate care and nuance. I was like, imagine if me or you made this movie, because like me and Jeff were filmmakers. Me and Jeff would not be able to handle what Celine does in the later half of this movie with the same, I want to say, tact and compassion that Celine does.
Yeah.
I before we get into the characters, really, I want to give Celine her flowers, because the one thing that was going through my mind in every scene, besides, because I really want to talk about Dakota Johnson, but as of right now, Celine, like the root, I think Past Lives might be a better movie, but this
For
to me
it
is
yes.
right. But this to me is my personal favorite of the two, and it's just because everything across the board was hitting for me. So like the Daniel Pemberton score, her shots, man, like there's shots where like stuff is like perfectly framed and asymmetrical. Like there's a shot of Lucy walking to one of her clients, and they're like, "Hey," like the bridesmaids, they're like, "Hey, she's having second thoughts." And at the shot of her walking through the hallway, where it's three bridesmaids, her in the middle, three bridesmaids, and they're walking through that hall. I'm like, holy shit. And like almost every shot in this movie is perfectly composed. I didn't realize this, Dan, until we were in the shots, that a lot of these were oneers. They're like Spielberg oneers where you don't notice. Like I didn't notice until halfway through. I was like, wait, this is a fucking oneer. Like this shot is still fucking going. And it's shot on 35 film. Like it's shot on film. Like A24, if you guys can press a film print, I'd like to see a film print. And it's mixed in Dolby Atmos. So like if I can see it in Dolby Cinema, would love to see it in Dolby Cinema.
For sure.
But and that's all I wanted to give real quick before we get back into the movie, is just Celine her flowers, because like I was just like Past Lives is from top to bottom a great constructed movie, but
it's just not as relatable. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
but
why
this was on
probably
another level
more.
for me.
Yeah. Just to tag onto that real quick too, she was speaking a lot about the shots, and a lot of them are so beautiful.
Yes.
And she was saying that, a lot of times they were like, hey, why don't you just get the shots of like the place, it was Pascal's character named Harry, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. First time, by the way, I ever remembered anybody's name in a movie. Just, that's
holy
how
shit,
it's good.
man. I had to pull up the credits page. You're knocking it out the park, man.
So yes. So Sophie was also in that. I remember. But no, so like she was, they were like, the a lot of these like the apartments, the settings, the locations, they're so beautiful. Why don't we just get more like shots like of that? And she's like, no, I made a choice where I didn't want any of those shots without characters in them. I wanted them to be in there, and I mean, just the way she shot New York in general is just, it's outstanding. It's beautiful, and it was filmed in New York. It's not, other places.
You could tell. There, New York. When a movie that takes place in New York is not shot in New York, you could automatically tell. Just because, again, I'm in New York like at least once a week, and you live in New York, so like we know what New York looks and feels like.
Yeah.
Like I've lived in New York for a couple of years because I used to live in Harlem. But I mean, I've been all over, man. Like
you know it, man. So, you just know it. It's a feeling, and it's its own character, and absolutely.
I want to say, let's start with Dakota Johnson.
Mm.
I always thought she was a fine actress. Like I never really had a opinion of her one way or the other. You know what I mean? So this to me, watching this movie, I'm not watching Dakota Johnson. I'm watching Lucy.
Yeah.
And watching the movie, I was just like, you know, I would never date Lucy for a number of reasons that are in the film, but I was so attracted to her just because of the way she carries herself, the way she talks, how she
Confidence.
just yeah, that's the thing, is like I was attracted to her confidence. I'm like, yo, this is a sexy woman. Jesus Christ.
All of them. The confidence plays a big part with every character in this movie.
Yes.
Whether you have it or you don't have it.
I mean, when Chris Evans entered, well, I mean, let's say this: when Pedro Pascal enters the picture, right away he sees Lucy. He's like, I want her. I want her. And the way he goes about it, I'm just like, it makes sense. Like his choices in the movie about, and she even asked her, like, why me? And the way he lays it out, I'm like, makes total sense. Like I can't even front on him for that. Like,
yeah,
even when Chris Evans shows up, like their first scenes together, because it's two scenes, one in the wedding reception, and then there's the one where they're sharing the cigarette. When they're sharing the cigarette, or no, they're not sharing a cigarette, but they're having a moment between cigarettes, and you just feel the romantic chemistry and tension between those two. I was just like, I've never felt this chemistry in a movie between two romantic leads in a long time.
No, wait, you're referring to Pedro and Dakota, or are you talking about Chris Evans and Dakota?
Chris Evans and Dakota, where they're standing outside smoking the cigarettes.
Yeah.
I was just like, that scene's particular.
And it's also awkward and it's uncomfortable because there's a history.
Yes. It, because you know, movies usually have dialogue, and this doesn't shy away from being like real life, where even between friends, you have awkward pauses and just moments of you know, maybe just letting the silence linger, because that's what humans do. They just let the silence linger because sometimes you just don't need to speak. And this movie's not afraid to just have these people have glances at each other where you get,
you just get it.
You know. Yeah. If you've been in a relationship, you understand what's going on here immediately, and you're just like, fuck me, man.
There's still real strong love there, but circumstances and, you know, situations and confidence and insecurities have all played, you know, their role. And, you know, I think that's what makes it so real, man. I mean, I've been through it, you know, I've been through stuff like this, and it's hard, man. And the love is still there. And yeah, you just know it. You could see how Lucy interacts with Harry, and you could see it how she interacts with John, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting.
And you know, I love how this movie frames Lucy's job, because out of everybody's, I could say, quote unquote, work, we see the most of Lucy at her matchmaking. Like a few,
she's the center.
Right. Yeah, because the matchmaking really is like a good chunk of the movie of her doing her job, and like a lot of her clients are like supporting characters. So like, it really, I love that the movie shows how absurd this whole thing is, and how fucked up modern dating is. Because I'm gonna tell you guys, modern dating, you watch this movie, like I feel like a lot of people who are older than us, especially like Jeff, he's older than us, they're gonna watch this and be like, this is weird. But I'm like, nah, bro, this is how modern dating is.
And
like,
it's why I don't like that. You know, I was never for that. And funny enough, it's like the way that it was handled, and dude, it's real. Because another thing from the Q&A, Celine Song was talking about how she was a matchmaker for 6 months. And she, these are the real things, the way you can lay it out. It's a real life version of a dating app, but this is for people who can afford, you know what I mean? the personal interaction, the way they lay it out. Oh yeah, I want this height, I want this job, this amount of money being made, this situation, that situation, and it's like, whoa, man, this age, and you know, you get it. I hate that. You know, I really hate that.
And you know what? I've been on dates with women who are like this, where they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I tell them, I do this. Well, how much money you make? I'm like, I make this much money. Where do you live? I'm like, I live in Jersey.
Yeah.
I live in Jersey. There's been a couple of dates where that totally killed it, and then there's been a couple of dates where it kept going, and they're like, "Well, how do you live?" And I tell them my living situation. You know what I mean? Like, I live with people, and then you know, I pay money for rent, you know what I mean? Because I live in a house. So like me and the other people who live together, we pay money, and that's what kills it. And it's just like, you know, that's why I sympathize.
It hurts the confidence.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're not trying to get out of a certain situation or better yourself, but this is the, you know, situation. And not that it's even bad, because it's not bad. It's just different than how other people are living their lives. You know, I live with people too. And it's not always the most ideal, you know, and I get that. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you, but because of the pressure that you feel from other people, sometimes it could, you know, it really does make you put yourself down, which is exactly what John was going through. You know what I mean? He felt that. I mean, he didn't love his situation either, but it's his situation. It's what he's in right now. He's a struggling artist. You know what I mean? He's a struggling actor, and he's trying his best. I mean, dude, I went to, you know, I'm content creator, influencer, you know, right now, but I went to school for acting and film, and so I get it. I know it. You know, it's not ideal, but this is right now what I can do, and yeah, man, it's hard.
Me and you are in the same boat. Like, I think that's why this movie's speaking to us, is like, because like when Chris Evans says how old he is, I'm like, damn, I'm right around the same age as him.
What was the age? I don't remember.
37. He says he's 37.
I just turned 38. Damn it.
Yeah. So like, so me and you were like around the same age as this character, and it's just like, now that we know each other pretty well, I'm like, oh, this is basically how we're living, and it's not like we're not trying.
Yeah.
But it's just, how can I say this? The realities, the economic realities, and I know exactly where it broke, like a lot of people our age, is right when the war in Iraq happened. And that's what caused our generation the collapse. The millennial the collapse happened for us right at the war in Iraq, and it's never gotten better, and I don't think it's ever going to get better.
Unless unless you do really, really well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, but that's like that too. It's like we're striving for something, and so it's easier and more cost effective if you're in a situation where you're living with somebody. You know what I mean? It just is. I'm currently with my family. Everybody's running back and forth. You know, I mean, it's not always easy. It's not ideal, but if I can save now and and have a bigger picture and something that towards I'm working for, you know, instead of getting like I can go and get a job, a really, really well-paying job, get my own place, but then there's zero focus on what I really want to do. I want to focus on what I got to do, and it's not hurting anybody. So
I mean, me and you kind of have this. We're on the same kind of trajectory. You a little more faster than I am.
I don't know, but just difference. Just different. Not, I don't know, faster, not faster.
But you get what I'm trying to say. We're both on kind of the same path, and like it's happening for us, and we're just working towards making it happen.
Yeah.
And like, I have a friend who's basically the same age as us. He's married, and he even admits, he's like, "Yo, listen, my wife understands. Like, look, he even says I work part-time, and my wife pays for a lot of stuff, but she's happy. I keep her happy, and she makes me happy, and that's just the way it is." And I was just like, I wish more people could be like you, where you understand, like, as long as everybody's happy and it's not a burden on either one of you, and you understand your situation, that should be all it is. And like Matt even, no, sorry, Matt, but Matt even says, he's like, look,
that's not a real name.
right. But he even says, he's like, "Oh, listen, I understand I'm fortunate and I'm lucky, but like, it's not like I'm a bum sitting at home all day." He's like, "Yo, because I work with him. We're cool people, but like, look, again, y'all gotta start talking to people our age, because it feels like Celine Song. I don't know how
Understands
old,
us. I don't either. I wish I
but
did.
I was just like, she
She
must
gets it.
know, yeah, because she knows what people our age are currently doing and going
Yeah.
through and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I was lucky enough, and I'm not going to get into my situation, but I was lucky enough to get into, every the situation that is most relatable to this. Because if you remember, not to spoil things, not to spoil anything, but she doesn't exactly, Dakota Johnson, Lucy, she doesn't really care about the material things. It really isn't about that. It just didn't work out for whatever reason. It didn't work out. She
I mean,
does.
she
She
does, because
does.
there comes that flashback
Yes,
where,
yes.
and I was
But
just like,
it bothers her, you know what I mean, that she does also, but she was also forgiving of certain situations. I was in a situation where, it was, the person was like so understanding to what I was trying to do also, you know what I mean? Because she grew up around, people in the same situation. So there was no real judgment, just things didn't work out for whatever reason they didn't work out. But there
right,
was no real judgment, and I always appreciated it. It never made me feel guilty about about anything, not intentionally, and it's hard to find, it's just, the love is always still there,
I mean, I'll be real with you. In that flashback, I like, as much as I'm glad that she was honest, but also I feel like that a lot of that, I was like, John, this is on you, because now you're being a fucking asshole. Like,
yeah, yeah.
she straight up said, like, I'll pay for parking. And as much as that, I've
It's
been in,
ego,
yeah.
man.
And listen, I've
Yeah,
been in that situation where I'm like, fuck, that hurts. But also, my girlfriend really wants to do this. I'm just gonna let her pay for parking. I'll be like, all right, let's pay for parking. Let's go to this restaurant, enjoy our night. And you know what? Maybe next week I'll work a double shift or triple shift, or make it up somehow,
yeah.
so that way I can make it up to her later.
It's an ego thing,
Yeah, yeah,
it's an
yeah,
ego thing, and it hurts your confidence, and I get it, I mean, I think we've all been in situations like that. No, I'm not
yeah,
going to do something. It's
yeah.
like, and the other person's, like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, let's just do this. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do it that way. Like, we're going to figure this out. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
You're hurting a
yeah.
situation. And I think a lot of these situations are ego.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look, like you said, I've been there. Like, there's been points where, like, the girl that I've been with, she was like, "Yo, Brandon, just let me pay for this." I'm like, "No, I got it." And they're like, "But how are you going to make it to work for the next 3 days?" I'm like, "I'll figure it out." And it's backfired, but like, look, I get it. I think, yeah, that's why I want to, maybe let's get into the Q&A, because now I want to know, like, how there's so much truth and honesty. That's the one thing I love about this movie, is like, it comes
Yeah,
from a place of truth and honesty, and it all
yeah,
feels so fucking real. Like, there comes a certain point where something, like, I don't want to get into it, but something happens, and Dakota Johnson finally gets to talk to this person, and this person has a certain barb to her, and I was just like, I mean, she's not wrong. What y'all doing is, really is, like, you know what I mean? So, like, what was said in the Q&A that I missed?
well, just, for starters, it was, I really like her realization on, hey, like, I'm enjoying the beauty of all this materialistic stuff, right? The apartment, the trips, the this and that, and I love that, and it's really nice. But love is really, really where it's at, and if you can't have something if love isn't there. You can
Absolutely.
enjoy it, you can take advantage of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to do things that you've always wanted to do, but if you're not feeling it, if it doesn't mean anything to you, then it's eventually just gonna hit a wall, and that's it. And
Mhm.
yeah, no, man, just, Celine was talking about. We're on a first name basis, by the way. Celine and I were talking about, in the Q&A. She was talking about, just again, how real, how real it is, and a lot of people really hold on to the materialistic,
Mhm.
and you it's just not there. It's, again, so just what I said a minute ago. It's there for a while, but it's not there. It's not there. You have to have the love. You have to have, you know, um, meaning. Things have to have meaning to them, and
I
the way
think
go ahead.
I mean, not to cut you off, but just to your point of what you just said, I think that's a lot of what we all suffer from is the
Hmm.
instant gratification. Like, hey, if I get this new phone, I'll be really happy. Or like, you know, oh shit, my video on TikTok got like 10 million views. I'm really happy.
Yeah,
That only
no.
lasts. Like, I have a video on TikTok it's currently at 4 million views. It was at
Hmm.
3 million. Now it's at 4.
Mm.
And I'm just like, that's cool, but in the long run, what does this mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. You want to know when I realized that? I think material things never meant anything to me. It was never like that. Obviously, you like them, but it would like whatever, man.
Right.
Numbers are numbers. For me, I hustled and I hustled and I hustled on TikTok, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna hit 100,000 followers. This is big. The most I ever hit anywhere else
Right.
was like 10, 13K. It's like 100K is big, man. This is a big
Yes.
number.
Yes.
And I got there, and I was live when it happened, and I was like, oh my god, guys, we hit 100K, and it was great. And then I ended the live stream, and I was like, okay, well, like what's next?
Right.
I hit the
Yeah.
100. Do I still do what I gotta still do what I'm doing? And it's just a number. You get there, and it's like, all right, what life ain't over. What is it? What is the purpose of this? And that's why I always try and focus on the people, the things that you're doing, and the relationships you make and the connections that you have, because who cares about these other things? These things don't matter in the
Yes.
long run. You
Yes.
can't take
Yes.
this stuff with you. You
Yes.
can't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And your shout out to once I realized that, it was like that was it hit hard, because it was like, whoa, something I was really really working hard to get, and then I got it, and I was like, all right, well, what do I do from here? And my ex was so like celebratory of me, and that was like so nice, and I really appreciated that. Surprised me at a bar in the city with a bunch of friends holding a big 100 balloons and a cake and this and that. I was like, man, that's not that's the what matters, the people, the
Right.
things that yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Ever since me and Jeff has started doing this, I think that's what I appreciated the most is like meeting
Mhm.
people like you, like
Yeah,
Dave,
of
like
course.
like a few like Matt, a few like Matt you met at
Never
Karate
met him.
Kid.
Never
Yeah.
met him.
It's really the people you meet and
Yeah,
the friends you make on the way more than it is the success. And don't
it's the
get me wrong,
the
I
journey,
love
bro.
this. Yeah. I love the success. And honestly, if anybody's listening, if you want to sponsor the Film Blurs, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it really is. I can say, as frustrating and as hard as this can be, I really am enjoying the ride.
Mhm.
You're a cinephile, I'm a cinephile. This is scratching that itch for us of like,
Yeah.
we get to live and breathe movies, and people
Mhm.
look to us to talk about this stuff. And what better way to what more fulfilling way to live than doing this? Like the only other
Yeah.
way I could be more fulfilled is if I got like a studio came up to me, he's like, "Yo, we want you. Here's like $100 million. Here's an IMAX camera. Go make whatever the fuck you want." And
Yeah.
if that happened, I would decimate a parking lot to like
Yeah.
ash and
Yeah. Yeah.
shoot that
Yeah.
shit in IMAX.
I got you, bro. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you casting me. That's so cool. Lead role, man. I appreciate that. That's so sweet of you to say.
Number one on the
Just,
call sheet.
just saying, bro. Just saying. You got willing it into an existence, man. You got to manifest. No, but I agree. I agree with you, man. I mean, things like that make it easier, bro.
Yeah.
The journey of getting to these places is amazing. But once you get there, what matters is who rode with you the entire way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Because like a lot of people, like they're at that age where like are people our age, they're like, a lot of my friends have kids now, and they're just like, Brandon, when you plan on settling down? I'm just like, you know what, man? If it happens, it happens. If
Yeah,
not,
yeah. That's
I'm
what I
I'm at
say
a
too.
point where I'm at peace with myself, and I actually
Mhm.
do enjoy being like I'm at the first time in my point in my life where I'm actually enjoy being by myself and with myself and enjoying my own thoughts with
Mhm.
myself. Like I can read a book by myself, enjoy. I think there's a quote from Tom Hardy that I see on social media all the time, and
I don't know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, say.
yeah, like I relate to it hard. Where he's like, there's nothing better in life than sitting in your own house, eating your own snacks, being alone in peace. And I'm like, dude, that's the truth. It's just, coming home from the city after a screening, talking to you, talking to Jeff, talking to all these different personalities, walking through the city, dealing with assholes, dealing with people who want something from you, and just coming home and there's just complete silence. I shower, I crawl into bed, and I just
cup of coffee.
Yeah, just I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm sure it'd be nice to have a lady next to me, but at the same time, there's nothing more like relaxing than just having your own space and just being able to breathe by yourself and just
man.
Yeah, man, like being able to unwind, man.
Yeah. One thing that I definitely from the Q&A also that I wanted to bring up, I think I did mention already, part of it is that Celine Song was saying that like I said, she was a matchmaker for 6 months, but this was at a point where she just needed a job because everything's so damn expensive. But she needed a job, but so she got into this and she loved it. Right, she loved it. It was decent money, and she loves meeting people, and she got to interact with people and see all new things and study and learn people. But ultimately, after 6 months, she quit because she wasn't doing what she loved, and that was writing. And she goes, I noticed that in 6 months it was a distraction, and in 6 months I didn't write anything, and it's like, yo, I gotta get back to doing what I love. That's really what me. And look at where she is now. You know what I mean? And it goes hand in hand with the movie. It's a material thing, money. She was doing it for money, and she got stuck and distracted by the money, and then stopped once it got quiet and was like, whoa, wait, this is great, but this isn't what I want. This isn't what really means something to me. I'm enjoying it, but it's not. And that's the movie right there alone. Just a different situation. And I love that. I thought that it's so real, and kudos to her because she did what she loves. She's doing what she loves. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I mean, I think she hits that home perfectly. Because I've seen now my father's retired, and that dude, even till this day, he's all about money and the power of the dollar. But now that he's retired, he doesn't know what to do with himself. He has no interest and no hobbies because what was he doing?
He was making money.
Yeah, that was all it was to him, is just work so I could get money and money. And now he has nothing. And it's made him not that he was a pleasant person before, but now it's made him even more miserable. And it's just like,
and not that money's a bad thing, because you need it to experience and open up more doors for you, but it's not everything. It's not everything. And people focus on it being everything.
Everything, yes.
And at the end of the day, man, again, you're not taking it with you. You're not taking the clothes you wear, the jewelry that you got, the big house. It's not coming with you, man.
Yeah.
What's going to be right there next to you are the people that you love and the things that you love.
Absolutely. Was there anything else you want to highlight from the Q&A?
Oh man, well, I would love to highlight just the fact that after the Q&A, Celine Song was stuck around a little bit to speak to some of the people there, and I was like, damn man, I kind of want to tell her, because I had seen Past Lives like at the first test screening. I remember them saying it's not finished. It's this is before I started getting invited to these things and everything. This is like one of those ERM research things, and I was excited to go just because it was an A24 movie, and I stood outside for about a minute, and I was like, she's too busy talking to people. Let me leave the building. And I left the building, and she had come out, and once she stopped speaking to whoever she was speaking to, I was like, Celine, I just got to tell you something. I was like, I was at the very first test screening. First of all, fantastic movie. I was at the very first test screening for Past Lives, and it was my favorite movie of the year that I had seen it. And then it took like 1.5 years to come out for everybody else, and I couldn't wait for everybody else to see it. And then it was my favorite movie of that year. And she was like, it wasn't just the first test screening, it was the only test screening. So I got to see the very first screening of her very first movie, which is awesome, man. I love that. And she was like, oh my God, you're an OG. She goes, "You knew that I was a filmmaker before anybody else knew I was a filmmaker," and she gave me a hug on her own, man. I was like, man, I texted everybody knew. I was like, I love this, man. It's so cool. There's a connection there, man. It was awesome.
I gotta say, one thing is that I was really surprised how restrained and how human Pedro Pascal's character, and let me just look real quick of what his name is. Harry.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Harry. Because Pedro, I like Pedro Pascal, and I've said this on this podcast, and I'm gonna say it again right now. I need him to take a break because he's in everything, and I'm like, my man, fantastic actor, but goddamn, I'm about to be real fucking sick of you. All right, so like, take a pause. And this is the first.
Man. I get it. I understand. Yeah.
And this is the first project I've seen.
At all.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mean that. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm like, bro, you gotta just breathe a little bit and just take a break. But this is the first project of his, and I loved everything he's been in.
He's striking while the iron's hot is what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's this is the first time where I was just like, man, this was perfectly casted. Like Pedro, it's like Dakota Johnson's character, where I was like, I'm not watching Pedro Pascal, I'm watching Harry.
Yes.
And that's, I think, why it worked so much for me, where I was just like, okay, I can get over the fact that I've seen this guy so many times because I'm not watching him. I'm watching the character he's actually portraying, because it's something I haven't seen him do something like this. I've seen, like, he's soft-spoken as Joel in The Last of Us, but like not like this, where there's no threat of violence or nothing. He's just there. Like, this is who I am. This is what I want. I'm rich. What do you think? And I love the fact that he's so frank.
There's a big confidence. He's got such a large confidence, but and I'm not, this was also something that was mentioned in the Q&A, and I don't want to bring it up because I feel like it spoils something in the movie, but there's a scene where there's his insecurities come out. And it's so monumental and it's so important and realistic. You know what I mean? You could cover everything else up by the confidence, but there's a big insecurity that you could see. It's just the face change. You could see the change in the face. You could feel that it's like, damn, you know what I mean? You found something out, and I don't want to talk about it. And that was discussed in the Q&A also. But again, it's not something that I want to, give away.
Right.
But something simple, probably it's not even a big deal to other people, but meant so much, and affects him so much. And I love that. It was just very realistic.
To your point of what you're talking about, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I like that a throwaway joke is paid off.
Yes.
I was just like, that's fucking nuts that she's paying off a throwaway joke that they just talk about for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It becomes a whole plot point. You know what I mean?
It does, and made me think about, damn, man, maybe I should save up some money and do what was done. You don't have to worry about that, man. I gotta,
D, if you could get 200K real easily, you let me know, because I could 200K. I'm so used to being broke. 200K would last me like a couple of years.
Told you, bro. I'm gonna start an OnlyDans, and it's gonna be OnlyDans are invited, but I gotta make that money, bro. I gotta make that paper.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, maybe I should start selling feet pics to all the freaks out there.
That ain't gonna buy mine.
Just one quick question for you, Danny, because since you did stay for the Q&A, I want to know, because I'm not going to mention it. I just want to know, what happened in the movie? Because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Did what happened in the movie actually come up in Celine's work as she was a matchmaker?
She didn't speak on that specifically.
Okay.
So I can't say yes, unless you just didn't talk about it. We also run out of time, but she didn't really speak about that specifically. I think just that she got to know a lot of people and a lot of situations, and she probably saw that and she probably felt it. And she's just really good at writing characters and stories like this. I would have to think that there's got to be a connection somewhere. She had to have witnessed something or experienced it herself in some way, shape, or form, because she's really good at writing these things. They feel so real, unless she's just
Yes.
that talented, and she might be. But it hits a lot of notes, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you know this factoid, but the guy who wrote because he's worked with Luca Guadagnino twice and potentially next year, because I don't know if you know this, Sergeant Rock is on the back burner and allegedly it's supposed to shoot next summer instead of this summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Justin Kurzik, he wrote Challengers, he wrote Queer, and now Sergeant Rock, and he's worked with Luca. Did you know Justin is married to Celine in real life?
Didn't
Yeah.
know. Didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a power couple, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, that's so cool. I didn't realize that. I got to do more
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
man. Her and I are, buddies now. So, you know, Celine and I, we're like this now. That's
I only
really cool. Wow, I didn't realize.
I only know that because I went to the screening for Queer and Daniel Craig and Justin showed up. And I remember Justin was just like talking to Luca, and like when they were finishing up Challengers, he gave him the book and he's like, "Can you read this and adapt it?" And he did, and he read the book and he came back to Luca. He's like, "Bro, I'm straight. Like, I don't know what you think I could do with this particular novella." And he's just like, "I trust you." And I guess that's his writing partner now, man.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Challenger's a spec script picked up by one of the most talented directors in the world. 3 amazing leads, and now like he's attached to the hip to Luca. So that's pretty fucking nuts.
More to come then, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Is like now I'm like, I wonder what's now that they both have 2 features under their belts. I'm like, yo, so what's gonna be Celine's third, man? Like I can only imagine what her third's gonna.
Man.
Yeah, because Jesus, if
she's
this
great
is
at it, man.
This is her first 2 movies. I'm like, if this is your first 2, like, what are you gonna do? Because like, again, Materialist is on another level for me. Like I like as much as I love Past Lives, like to everybody listening and watching, like I can't say this enough. Go see this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Like again, Past Lives, fantastic film, but to me, this is on another level, and
maybe cultural wise, maybe that's why we didn't connect to it as much.
Probably,
Past Lives, right?
Probably.
I think that's what it is, and this takes place in New York, and it's so I don't know. I understand though what you're saying.
I also come to realize I'm much more inclined to people who do like how can I say this, mainstream art, if that makes sense. So this is a lot slicker and a lot more polished and artier movie, if that makes sense, than Past Lives. So that, because what people ask me, they're like, "Why are you so attracted to Nolan and Denis Villeneuve?" And I was like, "Well." And Luca, they're like, you hype up those 3 guys a lot. I'm like, bro, like they make the shit I want to watch, which is big budget like art films. So like they're making independent movies on the studio level. Like the only other person who does that is Soderbergh. Like the fact that like, I mean, come on, the fact that fucking Denny got to get away with what he did in Dune. The fact that Nolan got to make Oppenheimer for $100 million and that shit was a hit. Yeah. If you watch that movie's a talkie, but it moves fast. Like it has the pace of a runaway freight train.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Somebody said no shot in that movie lasts longer than 30 seconds. No problem.
Yeah.
Which is crazy if you think about it. But like, look, that's the type of movies I personally like. Is
I get it, yeah.
Big budget. Like when I get art and entertainment in the same
big budget,
movie,
low budget films.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If I can get art and entertainment in my shit in one go, like you got me. Like it's just that simple.
Yeah, I get it.
And Materialist is that, because not only was I entertained, but it was artfully done. Because again, those oneers and her shot selection in this, I was just like, man, she is really cooking on a simple love triangle story. Because I'm like, some of these shots I was like watching it, I was like, some of this is just going a little too hard, Celine. but like, yeah, she's really leveling up as a filmmaker. And
Yeah.
like you said, I think for us, specifically, because we're around the same age as these characters and we've been through the same exact shit. Like, it's like, yeah, it's a lot more relatable. Like, I'm just so surprised how honest and human
Yeah.
a movie like this is. Like, it's very rare that it feels like you're watching real people and not characters. You know what I'm saying? Where,
Oh yeah.
especially where I'm watching movie stars like Chris Evans, Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, I'm not watching Pedro Pascal, I'm watching Harry. I'm not watching Chris Evans, I'm watching John. I'm not watching Dakota Johnson. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching Lucy. And even the I would say the best scene with Chris Evans for me personally, like my favorite, is outside of the bodega when he takes that call. Because I've been that guy where your ex calls you and you're just like, fuck, man, she's in trouble. I should hate her, but
so
I still
much
love her.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And he does exact words too. I'm here, you know.
And it's so much honesty in that, because he literally drops everything and sits down outside of the bodega. There's no, if you guys been to a bodega in New York, you know they're not the most cleanliest places. So the fact that he's actually sitting down in front of the bodega to take a phone call with his ex, I'm like, bro, this is the realest shit I've ever seen.
It's nothing else matters, you know. It's like, like I'm here.
Yeah.
Whatever else I was doing doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna hear what you have to say and hear what you got going on. And that's love, bro. That's what it is, man. You do what you got to do for love. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there.
Yeah. Look, if you haven't experienced it, you probably will with some type of lady, or let me not make this gender exclusive for your person.
Yeah.
For
love is love.
Yeah, right. For your human, I should say. For your human, like you everybody, I think, has had that moment with another human being that they've loved. Because, like, again, as a straight dude, I should stop putting things in a box.
Oh yeah, it's just what we're used to doing. It's not. It's no offense to anybody else. It's just our experience.
True.
Yeah.
D, you have anything you want to say? Anything else?
See the movie. You know, stop and think about it afterwards. You know, I don't know, man. And I am also curious to see where she goes from here. Also, because it's, you know, even Past Lives is almost like a love triangle. It's not, but it is. This one is, and we'll see if she sticks to this, which she's great at, or if she does. I have a feeling she'll go do something different,
right?
Because she doesn't want to be also put in a box. She doesn't want to be typecast, I'm sure,
right?
And you know what I mean. Whatever, I'm here to watch whatever she puts out at this point. I'm in it from the beginning. Like she said, I'm the OG. So I'm just excited to see more people talk about this. I'm excited to see everybody just see this and hear what they have to say. I feel like it's going to be bringing up a lot of emotions for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we scoot on out of here, I just want to say this, and this is not a slight. This is just this is actually a praise for Celine. Both of her movies, I kind of figured they were going to end the way they were going to. And I'm only saying that. This is like, I don't think that's bad that it had a predictability on the way both of these movies ended. I'm just saying I love both endings for both Past Lives and Materialists, because that's real life. And that's how shit pans out in real life. And that's what I'm going to leave it at.
Yeah. I gotcha. I get it.
Yeah. So
thank you so much for having me, bro.
Thank you for coming on, Dan. Well, before we go, Dan, would you like to plug anything?
Oh man, just if you feel so inclined, you could follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Blu-ray Dan, and TikTok at Dan in Real Life, loaded with underscores in between each word. Yeah, that's really it, man. Just nothing else to plug, man. Just spread love, kindness. That's all that matters.
Yeah, especially this movie. Before we go, also, can we start having adult like conversations like this? I think that's the other problem with modern dating, is like we got to start having more adult conversations and stop tiptoeing around it and stop avoiding the shit. I think we'd probably be in better situations. I'd probably still be in a relationship if we started being honest like these characters in this movie. Honestly. Yeah.
And it just not only honest with each other, honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the expectations Yeah, expectations that we set for ourselves and for each other. And we got to keep keep your expectations realistic, okay? Don't blow them out of control. Like if you're solely dating for somebody who's making $500K a year, you're going to like this movie plain and simply shows you are going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
So
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. That is episode 166.
We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies. You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.